Hi, in today's video, we will talk about how to debug with icecream library and object print and PySnooper, and how to print in different colors and bold and highlight, etc. So this is the agenda of this particular video. So the data set which we would be using in this video is from site called as 538. They have their own GitHub page, and I'm going to use a data set called as biopics. So this is the data set which I have already downloaded. So here you can see. So it has a lot of details about different movies and which country is it basically from, the year of release, box office, director, the kind of subjects, how many subjects is it addressing, and different cast information and so on. So this is the data set which we would be using to do the basic debugging in icecream and object print and PySnooper. So let's get started. So first let me save this page as probably I would say debugging. This is my file name, and first I would say import pandas as pd to import the file, and I would say pd.read underscore excel, and this is in my OS, the path itself, so I would directly say biopics.xlsx, biopic it is, and let me save this in data frame. And let's print the shape. Yeah, it is saying 761 rows and 14 features. So first let's import a library called as icecream. So to install it should be pip install icecream. I have already installed, hence I'm not doing it again. So this is the command to install the icecream library. I would say import icecream, and another line I would say icecream, from icecream import install, and then I would say install. So basically we don't have to mention ice cream everywhere. We can just say we can just add ic in our code. So yes, this ran. So let's say I want to print all the items, all the rows which has director Clint Eastwood, for an example. So let me search here. Yeah. So whatever the rows, whatever the movies are directed by Clint Eastwood, I want to filter them. So how do I do that? So I would say df df, and here I would say df, um, the column name is director, and this should be by Clint Eastwood. So let's save this in something called as Clint Eastwood, and this is my code to filter only Clint Eastwood. But what can I do? Just before this second data frame code, I can just add IC, and I can just close it before the square bracket. This is what I can do to debug. So let's see how it is working. So the moment I give, it will keep running till it iterates over all the rows, all the observations, and it is giving me all false or true or whatever, basing on the condition what we have given as met or not. So if we want to see what is the output, just type it here. We would be able to say, okay, these are all the directors. It is by Clint Eastwood. In this director column, you can see all these values are basically from Clint Eastwood. But this IC is basically a replacement of print, which has been traditionally the debugging tool, default debugging tool in Python. There is nothing extra, it has just replaced. Let's take another example of ice cream itself. Say I want to filter number of subjects given addressed by a particular movie. So it is saying number of subjects. So in some cases it has addressed two subjects. In couple of cases it has done three subjects. That particular movie has addressed three subjects. So say I want to print or filter basing on the movies which have addressed more than one subject. So I want to print basing on that particular parameter. So let's try how this is working. So I would say df and the number of subjects. So I can copy from here. The number of subjects are greater than 1. That should be my um, parameter. And I have to give as IC. This is my code, and let's say I would talk about so this is basically box office or something. Let's say this is about box office, or uh, yeah, this is my variable, and I want to know what is this. So yes, it will start printing the details about that particular data frame which has number of subjects at least two, that is more than one, two, three, and so on. It will keep printing. So if we have to see the entire we can just go ahead and do this. But as I have mentioned earlier, IC is traditionally a replacement of print. That's it as of now. We don't see any debugging line by line or something. Of course, we have not run any loop here, for loop or something, but still it is not giving me any line by line information here. It should have printed at least number one line. It is not giving. So let's see how object print is working in this particular case. So for object print, let me say from object print. So this is also going to be pip install objprint. This is the command to install the library. So I have already installed. So I would say from objprint import objprint comma object string, that is obj string. So these are the two things which we need to import, and this is the one. And now I want to include this obj print, and also I have to add one more line that should be from obj print import install, and I would say install. So we can just add that op somewhere. Yes, this is done. And I would also talk about install op. If I'm running or adding this OP in front of any particular function or library, sorry, any particular function, it should be able to give information similar to what icecream has given. So that is the reason I'm just doing this install OP. Yes, that's right. So now I want to know how many movies have the subject as criminal. So it is not listed here. So how many movies have got the subject as criminal? For an example, what if I want to filter those items? So let's say I would say filtered data frame. This is the object, this is the variable, and I have to filter this one. I would say df, and the subject is this, and I would say subject, and this is going to be equal to criminal. So how many movies are there like that? So I have to print this one filter df, and if I have to do op filtered df, these are the information what I'm getting. So this is it. I just have to add one bracket here. So now if I'm doing it, I would say install here instead of the previous line item, and let me delete this particular line. Okay, so I have just added this bracket and I have got this OP here, install OP instead of the previous line. So let me see how it is working. Okay, so this is not going to be subject. So subject is this one. So that is different. So I wanted number of, sorry, I wanted type of subject. Sorry, my mistake. So this is going to be type of subject, and I have to add this type of subject. Hence, it is giving an empty data frame. So that is my mistake. So this is what it is. So I have got OP and filtered DF. I have got all this information. But even here, it is not telling me which line item has it run and what is the output line by line. Ideally, debugger should do that. So here as well, I'm just getting the final data frame line by line, and it is returning the complete one, but it is not giving any further information. So now we will talk about one more library, which is PySnooper. So this is one more library. We will see how this is working now. So basically for this as well, we'll have to just add pip install PySnooper. So that's it. There is nothing much. So it talks about uh, pip install PySnooper. So that is the command to install the library. And I would say import PySnooper. So this is just this is what to import. And here, say I want to know um, what is the subject. Um, say I want to count how many movies have released before 1971 and how many movies have released after 1971. So basing on that, I want to have a filter, and let's run a particular function. Let's define a particular function. So I would say year of year release, and here let me talk about the data frame. Let me give the complete data frame, and I would say df year of release. So year of release is this one, year release. So year of release, if it is greater than 1971, I have to save in a variable called as after 1971. And if it is before 71, so let's just copy this line item. So if it is before 71, let me tell before 71. So this is going to be less than or equal to. And here as well, it is greater than equal to. So this is what my function says. And I will return these two variables. It is after 1971 and before 1971. So this is what I have to get the output from here. So now what I can do, I think I need to add a bracket here, else it may throw an error. It is comparison operator. So let me just add a bracket here. Yes. And how do I use this PySnooper here? So after defining, I would not use it. So before defining as a decorator, we can just say PySnooper dot snoop. So a function. So this is as a decorator, we will be using it in a for loop or in any function. We can use it as this one. So once I enter, let's see what is happening here. And I'll have to print this one, sorry. So now I would say year release, and the data frame is data frame. So now what happens? You are getting all this information as it is, and in the bottom we get line by line information. It is second row, third row. So in the second row we are just defining the function. In the third row, it talks about after 1971, whatever releases. So that is where we get 557 rows. So overall, how many row items we have? If we go to the shape, we have got total 761 rows. Or so out of 761, we have got 557 here. That is after 71. And line number 4, it talks about before 71, we have got 204 rows. So, and in the fifth one, it is just returning the objects, nothing else. So this is exactly what is needed. We want line by line information, okay, what is happening in this particular line. And if something is wrong, it would also tell, okay, this is where the exception occurred, or this is where the parameter didn't filter anything. For an example, basing on my parameter, if there are no rows at all, it would say 0 rows, for an example. So I should know, okay, which line or which row should I change in my code. So this is exactly is helpful in PySnooper. And this kind of information I have not got in IC. IC, if you see here, OP, we have not got any information at the end. It is just printing the filtered data frame. The same goes with uh, IC as well. I have included IC here. So the same goes over there. It is just saying, okay, this is the line item and this is the complete data frame filtered one it is giving you. So, out of the three, as of now, PySnooper I felt the best because of these reasons, which is not there in the other two. So now we will talk about how to print different types of formatting. So there is a library called as term color. So you say pip install term color. So this is the library. So I would say from term color, since I have already installed term color, import cprint, color print, that is cprint. So let me import this. Now for an example, I would say in IP equal to input. Input, I need to give the input, and I have given the input equal to accepted. So this is the input it is taking from me, and I have given. Okay, so now IP is equal to accepted, the value. Now, say for an example, I want to run a if loop, if else conditions I want to give. So I would say if IP is equal to accepted cprint accepted, and I want to print this in blue color, for an example. So whatever points we are talking about here is not applicable for command prompt. I'm talking about to print in a Jupyter notebook. So next is I want to set the attributes as bold or italic. For an example, say I want to set as bold because accepted is something good, for an example, and I want to set it as bold. And now let's set else loop or elif loop for an elif condition. So if IP is equal to rejected, I want to give this as cprint rejected, and this I want to print in red. So this is the condition what we have given. Let's see what is it. So since accepted, my input is accepted, my the loop returned accepted in blue color and in bold. What if I take this out? I take this out, so it will still run, just that it is not bold anymore. Does it support italic? Let's see. Not sure, I have not tried, so let's see. Looks like it is not supporting. Not sure if my parameter has to be something else. So I'll go back to bold for, for the time being. Now I would change my parameter as rejected, for an example. Let me add as rejected. So now once I run this, so it is saying rejected. But for an example, I want to highlight something. So rejected is something bad and I want to highlight something. So there are a couple of only very few number of parameters or few number of colors it is supporting at this moment, not huge number. So if I want to highlight, I would say on yellow. Highlighter, usually it is by default it is yellow, right? So for an example, I want to set on yellow. It supports very basic colors like blue, green and all it supports. So I would say on yellow. So what happens is this will be highlighted, or the background will become yellow instead of white. Now there is no background, or that is white. So it would become yellow. So Okay, I need to put it in the quotes. So now this has become background as yellow. So let's check if it is supporting something like green or something. It is supporting green. If I want to highlight something with blue, does it support? Yes, it supports blue. So there are a few number of colors which it supports. And now let's if I want to add here as well bold, say I would say the same thing here as well. I would put as bold and on blue or on yellow. We'll go back to yellow. So it would now become, sorry, this is double T. So now it would become, okay, so first is on yellow, then becomes your bold. Yes. So the chronology has to be very important. So chronology is first it has to be the font color, then it has to be the background color, and then the third one has to be the attributes or bold, italic, whatever you want to specify. This has to be the chronology. As you have seen, if I'm printing first bold then background color, it is not taking. So this has to be, this has to be followed for sure. So this is how we can, this becomes better if, for an example, if I'm creating some kind of a Voila app or something, this color font formatting will still be intact and it will look good for the presentations in Office. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.